Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jennifer Schurter, and this is Living in Portland Suburbs. Today we're talking about Canby, Oregon, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Perhaps you've heard about Canby, or maybe you haven't. It is a charming little town about 25 miles southeast of Portland. And folks out here love it for a lot of reasons. But let's be real, no place is 100% perfect. So today I'm going to break down the pros and cons of living in Canby, Oregon, so that you can decide for yourself if it's going to be the right place for you. So let's get into it. First, let's start off with the pros. Pro number one is that Canby is a small town and it's charming and it has a community feel. If you love that small town, everybody knows your name kind of feel, then I can tell you Canby is going to deliver on that feeling for you. However, it's also big enough that if you don't want to be the person where you walk into a place and it's like cheers and everybody says Norm, then it's big enough where you can keep some of your anonymity and keep to yourself, but tap into it if and when you need to. People here are really friendly, and you can see it everywhere you go. It's neighbors supporting each other. If you go and check out Canby Now, which is one of the many community Facebook pages, you'll see that there are posts all the time about people who are struggling or have a loss, or maybe it's a family emergency. The community really tends to wrap them up and take care of them during those times of need. But you also see it at our events, whether it's the Clackamas County Fair and Rodeo, supporting 4-H and FFA at those events. FFA, for those who don't know, is Future Farmers of America. Yes, because Canby is a rural town, the high school does have a Future Farmers of America program, which is a wonderful aspect of the agricultural heritage that's out here. We also support the small businesses and the local farms that are out here as well. It's also great that if you want a place where your neighbors wave at each other with all their fingers, okay? We all wave at our neighbors, with all our fingers, then this is definitely the place for you. Pro number two, Canby is close, but still quiet. Close to Portland, close to Salem. So one of the biggest perks about Canby, I think, is that you're pretty much kind of right smack in between Portland and Salem. So if the big cities are a draw for you, whether it's for a career or whatever you need in your life, you're about on a good day, 30 minutes to Portland and about 30 minutes to Salem. So you're really right in the middle. You do, when you live in Canby, I think, get the best of both worlds because you're close enough to the big city. But if you want that quiet setting, more rural, where you're surrounded by more peaceful solitude of country living, then you do have that with Canby. So if lifestyle elements, shopping, restaurants, and things like that you're okay with those being a distance away, then Canby could be a great place for you. And the bonus is that if you don't have to commute very far, you don't have to deal with all of the Portland area traffic that might just make you lose your mind sometimes. And I know a lot of people ask me, but Costco, but Target, where are they? Don't worry. Wilsonville, a neighboring town, is just about a 10-15 minute drive from Canby. Pro number three, outdoor recreation and green space. If that is something you're looking for and you want to feel surrounded by nature and green and just beautiful countryside, then you might absolutely love living in Canby. Locally here in Canby, we've got the Molalla River. So a lot of people in the summer love to float the Molalla River. You can also put in your boat, you can kayak, you can do all sorts of things there. It's a lot of fun, and that's available to you. Canby also has a number of parks and trails. So Maple Street Park has softball fields, pickleball courts, and you can even take your kids there for the splash pad. That's a really popular place in the summertime. But if you need more open spaces in parks, you've got Molalla River State Park nearby. There's a big open field dog park where you can throw the ball or run your dog, and you can even take a nice walk along the river. It's also a great place to put your boat into the Willamette River if that's something that you'd like to do. And listen, if you're after those super influential Instagrammable moments, you're going to love being in Canby because the Swan Island Dahlia farm is right there in town. And in about August, September every year, you can go out and see the beautiful flowers that are in bloom. You can buy cut flowers and you can even order tubers for your own yard. Also, the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival and the Wooden Shoe Tulip Farm are very close by in neighboring Woodburn out in the outskirts of town. Those are just a few examples, but here around Canby, there's lots of beautiful scenery for you to enjoy. Pro number 4 are. We have a thriving local economy and we have agriculture. I find that Canby has quite a strong local economy between the small businesses, the manufacturing, and even the local farms that are in the area. If you like to shop local, you are going to love it here. Being surrounded by farmland means that we have access to a lot of amazing fresh produce, whether that's the local farm stands that you'll find out in the outskirts of town, or even the local grocery stores that, like Cutsfort's Market, will carry the local products that are grown by the farmers. If you like grass-fed beef, Ramage Farms that are nearby that offer grass-fed beef, so you can go farm direct for some of those products that you want. And that's a really awesome advantage of living in a place like Canby. I find that access to all these amazing products that are locally grown or locally made is a unique perk of living in Canby. And if that's something you're after, or you like that connection to the local agricultural community, then you're going to love it in Canby. So now let's talk about the downsides, because no place is perfect, right? Number one, Canby, limited on nightlife and entertainment. If you're the type of person who's looking for nightlife, Canby is not it. In town, we do have a movie theater. There's some great local brew pubs and restaurants, but if you're looking for that late night dance club, late night bar scene, or anything like that, Canby's just not going to be the place, especially if it's something you want within a very close distance. You're going to have to travel into downtown Portland or into Portland proper. And if being 30 minutes from those types of activities is a deterrent for you, then perhaps Canby is not the place for you. Con number 2 is our rising home prices. Really, it was just a handful of years ago where you could look at Canby and say, gosh, this is a haven for affordable homes. Not only is there a great lifestyle here, but you can buy a property at a very reasonable price. Over the past few years, as more building has happened and as more people have discovered Canby, I've noticed that that average and median price point in town has gone up quite a bit. In many respects, Canby is still more affordable than Portland or other areas in the metro. And especially if you're after a house with some land, anything like that in Canby is a very competitive situation. Those small acreage lots that happen to fall just outside the city limits are a very desirable and hot commodity, and they always seem to sell very quickly. And over the past handful of years, there have been lots of new construction developments that have come into Canby. And when you look at those prices against resale homes, or used homes as we would call them, new construction tends to be sold at a higher price premium than the resale houses. And with so much new construction happening, that has also, in my opinion, raised that median price point. Con number 3 is you have limited shopping and dining options. And look, you're not in a one-horse town in Canby. We actually have 3 grocery stores here. You're looking at Safeway, Fred Meyer, and the local favorite, Cutsfort's Marketplace. It's family-owned. And so you do have that. We do have a handful of wonderful restaurants that are locally owned, along with the usual fast food fare. But here's the thing. If you want big shopping centers like shopping malls or outlet malls, or if you want certain high-end dining options or really major retailers, those are not going to be found in Canby. You're going to have to go out to Wilsonville, to Woodburn, or even to Oregon City or beyond to get to some of those favorite large-scale chains and retailers that you might be interested in. Some people are really going to love that small town feel, and others are going to miss those conveniences of those big chains or restaurant options that are nearby. So that's definitely something to think about if you're considering a town like Canby or any in the surrounding area in the event that you want to move here. Con number 4, let's talk about the rain and the gray winters. So, okay, if you're not a fan of rain, then Oregon in general, the winters are going to be tough. And if you're native to Oregon, or if you've been here a long time, then this is not news to you at all. You've lived through these winters and you know how that can feel when you have a lot of gray and rain for months on end. But if you're new to the area, then consider this. The Portland Metro in the Willamette Valley gets a lot of gray, dreary winter days. Sometimes that can start in October and last through April, but literally we say quite often, those of us who've lived here our whole lives, we will say that summer doesn't start until 4th of July, and it could very well rain off and on all the way until 4th of July. If you're someone who really thrives in the sunshine and needs that vitamin D consistently all the time, you might struggle with that seasonal gloom. When I talk to my clients who have moved here from out of state, they do often tell me that this was one of the biggest adjustments that they had to make. But I will tell you, when summer does hit, it's the best. You can't deny Oregon summer is delightful. So what do you think? Is Canby, Oregon, or the surrounding areas in the North Willamette Valley going to be right for you? If you love small town charm, a strong community, easy access to nature, and a peaceful way of life, you're probably going to love it here. But if you find that you need big city conveniences, tons of nightlife, and endless shopping options, it may not be the best fit. If you're thinking about moving to Canby, Oregon City, Wilsonville, or any of those surrounding towns in Clackamas County or the North Willamette Valley, I would love to help you out. One of the things I love to do is help people figure out if this is truly their place. So feel free to reach out to me. Down below, you will see I've added some information about how you can get in touch with me. And if you want to keep up with all things Canby, the North Willamette Valley, or Clackamas County, I hope you'll subscribe and follow along. I'm going to be posting new content all the time and bringing you the latest. You can also follow me on Instagram at Jen Schurter. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. I've got something new to talk about in Canby.